Hey guys, today I'm going to share some of the things that I was influenced to buy that I regret spending money on. I really enjoyed the last video I made on a similar topic where I shared the things that I spent money on that was worth it. But when you're first getting into the space of videography, I don't know about you, but I found myself being so heavily influenced by people who have been in the game for years. I saw what equipment they were using and I thought I needed that. I saw where they were filming and I thought I needed to make those types of videos. Man, if I could just go back to the version of me starting out in all of this, I would have just told her to cool down and maybe not spend as much money as I spent on certain things. So maybe some of these are going to be valuable to you. If I de-influence you, then I've done a good job. But if you still want to buy or invest in some of the things that I'm mentioning today, do what makes you feel happy. Just a heads up for anybody who's watched any of my other content. This is a chatty video, so if you have an indoor trainer and you want to get cycling, or if you want to make yourself a coffee or a tea, grab a seat and let me just walk you through some of the things that I was influenced to buy that I regret. Now, when I got into using my GoPro, it's like the whole world of possibilities opened up to me and I was so excited about the different things that I could film. So I went a little bit on the wild side and bought myself this here thing that was not that expensive, but definitely a waste of money. So what it is a entire suitcase full of GoPro accessories. Let me just give you guys an idea of how jam-packed this thing is. Now, I haven't used hardly anything from here. If there was something I used, it was probably, I haven't even used this. I just put it in my hand. I have used a bike mount, but I was given that as a birthday gift. I've used that to get some POV footage, but I haven't done that much POV as I thought I would have. Maybe I will use it a bit more in the future. I used a chest strap once when I was doing a long run, but again, it was just such a mission while I was running to now put the GoPro into the chest strap. Like I had to stop. I just used it once for that run and then I didn't use it again. It was 30 kilometers of running with a chest strap where I wasn't fit enough to run 30 kilometers. So it was just an additional weight that I didn't have to carry and that wasn't valuable in my filming experience. It made for one cool time warp, but I did further time warps on the run and all I then did was just pull out the GoPro, put it on the time warp setting and started it. I didn't put it back into the chest mount at all. There's also a whole bunch of stuff for swimming and I don't even know what's in here. Like I haven't actually even gone through this entire bag of accessories because I just haven't needed it. I think what I have discovered when I film is if I'm filming while I'm doing a sport, I try to balance both. I kind of want to do the sport and I want to film. I don't really want to do one more than the other. So if I wanted to actually focus on filming, then the actual sport wouldn't be that much of a priority. I would have to stop and start a lot more. And if I only wanted to do the sport, well, actually in most cases that is the case. So it's easier for me to film as I just go about the sport. But what I've noticed now, swimming specifically, I can't film myself while I swim. If I am swimming, unless I'm in the gym, then I will just put it on the edge of the swimming pool and maybe just drop it at the bottom and do a couple of shots of me swimming over or something. But most of the times I kind of feel like if I'm filming myself while I'm swimming, I need somebody else there just to take a couple of shots for me. But what I typically do is film other people swimming. So in that case, I'm not really doing the sport at all. And then I don't need accessories because I'm then able to film and focus predominantly on the talent. Now, I'm not much of a skier, or I enjoy a good ski, but I actually haven't filmed myself skiing. So maybe you would need accessories for something like that, or if you're on a boat, or I don't know, perhaps some other form of sport. But personally, I spent money on a whole bag of GoPro accessories. At least it's neat, so I can keep it in my cupboard for one day. But yeah, this definitely wasn't worth the money. Now, although I've spent money on things that I regret spending money on, at least I can applaud my enthusiasm because, man, when I have a goal, I really seem to go for it hard. And sometimes I just am pretty embarrassed after I've done something. And this next one kind of takes the cringe level to the next height. So I don't know if you can see in that mirror over there, there's a nice curtain rail on my wall. And it's not covering a window at all. And that's because I was very enthusiastic about green screen for some time. So I felt a little bit aware that my background wasn't everything I wanted it to be. So I have worked at co-working spaces in the past, and because of that, I've been able to have a bit more of a juicy background. Like the depth of field was amazing. There was cool stuff in the background. I kind of feel my background is boring, and I got in my head a little bit about that. So I wanted to have a green screen so that I could plaster some really cool background behind me and film from home. But not just that, I needed green screen for other things, for certain work projects, and just also for certain videos that I was hoping to maybe just walk into like a coffee room or something, a coffee shop, or just maybe I needed green screen for certain things. In particular, I don't know if you've seen any of Ali Abdul's shorts, his YouTube shorts. I was very inspired by those, and I wanted to create YouTube shorts with dynamic backgrounds. So this not only saw me buy an entire green big sheet, as well as a curtain rail, and install it in my wall where it's just there now hanging out. That giant box, it's in my cupboard. It takes up so much space, and for months I literally had this green sheet just hanging down there. And I was frustrated because I wasn't getting what I wanted out of it. Now, there's so much involved with green screen that people just don't talk about. For example, your room has got to be lit so well so that there isn't any different types of shadows behind you, which is just so hard to get right. Like, I really struggled with it. And I would go in Premiere Pro and use the Ultra Key tool to just sort of like do my best at removing the background. But I've since come to learn that there are far easier ways to get the green screen effect without green screen. So I now just use a combination of an app, Canva, as well as Premiere Pro, and I get delicious looking footage without having to have that entire green screen setup. So I think I'm going to have to take that thing off my wall at some point. But again, it's just such a huge mission. Now I've got to plaster the holes, and it's just, why did I spend so much money on this? I mean, again, well done for trying, but there's so many simpler ways of achieving a look these days. At least you don't have to be excessive and buy an entire green sheet to take over the one half of your office. Now, something else, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who's been influenced in buying lenses. Well, I first actually started out with this lens. I think it's a 50mm lens. Yep. So when I bought my camera, I bought this lens. Now, I'm not going to be too hard on myself because a camera is a very expensive purchase, and I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that I didn't know that a camera doesn't come with the lens. I just assumed it did. I started videography out completely green. I didn't know anything. I'm completely self-taught. And I just assumed if you're going to spend so much money on a camera, you're getting a lens for free. Well, no, you actually have to buy a lens. So I bought this lens. It was the only lens I could afford at that time. And yeah, it's not fantastic. I mean, it's fine. It's fine if you're needing to shoot content that requires you to have a 50mm lens. But I saved up and then eventually bought my 25mm lens, and this has been perfect for me. I use this all the time. It is just the most easy lens for videography, at least just from my experience. It works so well for shots like this. If I'm sitting down talking to camera, if I'm filming somebody else, I feel like I am able to distance myself from them in a way that never messes with the footage. I'm always just so happy with what I've taken. I don't need to buy another lens. I'm not sitting here thinking, oh man, I wish I could save up to buy some other lens. No, that's just not where I'm at. I love my 24mm lens. And again, like, I'm not going to be too hard on myself because this is all that I could afford at that time. But maybe if I just waited a little bit longer and just realized, okay, cool, like that's a camera, you gotta buy the lens, save up for the lens that you want. But I mean, when I started out, I didn't even know anything about lenses. I just realized when I was taking videos that, whoa, this lens isn't giving me exactly what I want. And I then did some research and ended up with my 24mm lens, which is just giving me everything and more. Now from here, I feel like the things that I was influenced to buy are, I mean, I have a sad place in my heart for where I was when I purchased these things, because I think I was just trying so hard to be somewhere I wasn't. And, you know, when you just see everybody's content, you just want to get to where other people are at as quick as possible. But I've learned that it's just a journey. And when I say journey, I mean a financial one as well. Like, you just can't afford everything straight off the bat. It's unless you are very financially liquid, then power to you, my friend. Well done. But I've started this business from scratch, and everything that I've purchased without any debt. So I've had to save up for things. And I think if there's one thing that can sort of just bite you a little bit, it's monthly subscriptions. So I have in the past spent money on things, mainly to get assets for my videos that were monthly subscriptions that just I wasn't ready to spend the money on. And what really is so sad is you get excited about the quality of your videos when you use these assets, and when you just realize, man, the business just isn't at a space where we can afford this every single month, you have to let go of it. And then you can't use anything that you were really excited about getting. So it's difficult, it's tricky, because we're all at different spaces and we all need different things for the videos we're creating. And there are so many expenses with this type of business, whether it's your editing platform, whether it's your audio library. I mean, those are the two things that I would spend money on. But then there are things like asset libraries that are just so good. They are so good. I'm not saying they're bad, but just if you can't afford it and you have to cut costs, well, at least personally, I just wish I didn't invest in those. I wish I would have either learned how to make the asset myself, which is frustrating because there's obviously a learning curve. But again, there are other platforms or other apps that are free that allow you to get not the desired result, but something close that, I've now just gotten into a space of using. And I want to do this for a very long time. So I'm just trying to enjoy the journey and enjoy where I'm at in the journey instead of trying to skip a couple of steps. Now, again, this next one, man, I was heavily influenced, and I'm sure we all are to some degree, because we just look at some of the places people film and then you look at what's accessible to you. It's quite easy to feel like your videos are boring. So especially when it's come to videography competitions, or maybe just a video that I'm really excited about. In the past, I've actually spent quite a bit of money on the video itself. And in that, I mean the location and where I'm filming. So I've scouted out studio space. I have gone to coffee shops or places like that which require you to spend money on the coffee and the food, whatever. And like I mentioned earlier, I've even rented co-working office space. And as wonderful as it was to have that whole co-working experience and that out-of-home office experience, all of this stuff adds up and costs money. And really, to spend so much money on an aesthetic, especially if you're still building your business, I don't know, for me, it wasn't worth it. And it's been humbling to just take stock and realize where I'm currently at in my business, and also how this needs to make money. It can't just be a hobby. If it's a hobby, I am going to need to look at this in a completely different mindset. But I found that I just needed to taper back and accept where I'm at and just, own my background. It may not be what I want it to be, but everything has its time. But really, more so than aesthetic, I have come to learn that the value in your videos surpasses what the video looks like. So I have tried very hard, at least this year, to look at what it is that I'm sharing and how I'm delivering it. And I've put more of my focus on the intention behind my videos as opposed to how wonderful or how impressive they may seem. So more so than being a show pony, I'm focusing on the heart behind it all. And I hope that's relatable, because I think we all sort of start in the same place. And this is expensive. Gear is expensive. So I'd rather save up to level up my gear than focus on things like background. Although, I mean, I'm still going to make an effort, and there's lots of ways to get cool backgrounds without spending a lot of money. So it's not like my videos are going to be dull and boring from here on, but I'm just not going to spend money on locations itself. At least not for now, maybe in the future. But I'm sure I'm not the only person who's been influenced to spend money on things that they low-key now regret. So let me know what you spent money on because you were influenced. Maybe we can all learn from each other and just help each other out of it. But as some of you are aware, I've also spent money on things that I'm incredibly proud of. So if you haven't seen that video, check that one out. And as you guys know, I'm quite a huge fan of using my GoPro, so I'll leave a GoPro video for you to check out as well. See you in the next video, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.